Mr. Secretary. You got a good one? All right, we're up now.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this opportunity to live in the community that we live in, Lord, for the people and just the environment. Lord, I just ask that as we go into this meeting, Lord, that you will just guide our thoughts, our actions, Lord, that they may be pleasing to you. Lord, just continue to be with our first responders as they protect us. And we just thank you and praise you for all that you do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Address the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, well, we're really glad to see a big crowd here. That always excites us because we get to see what the people really think. There are some rules I want to go over with you today. Okay, these are the parliamentary laws that we follow to run these meetings. So our expectation is that everybody will be treated fairly and everybody will get a chance to speak. And as long as we follow these rules, this meeting should go very, very smooth and orderly, and everybody will get a chance to be heard. First thing is I do want you to know is that the speaker should address us. You're not supposed to turn around and address the audience. Okay, the other thing is you need to stick on topic. Don't need to be wandering off talking about other things. We're going to stick with the topic of the day that we're talking about at that time. We need to adhere to a time rule. You'll be given 3 minutes. And when you get down to about 2:45, it's time to start deciding what you're going to finish up with. I'm not going to cut you off at 3, but when it comes to 3:10, 3:15, I am going to start getting ready to cut you off. You need to be able to say what you can say in 3 minutes. We will not allow cheering and yelling and hollering and stomping your feet. When a speaker is speaking, he has the floor. And you should remain silent while he's speaking. And when you get your turn, you can also speak, and we'll have everybody remain quiet while you are speaking. Okay? I don't expect any problems. I think today is going to be a great meeting, and we're going to get a lot accomplished, and I'm glad to see everybody here. All right, we will go ahead and get started with the agenda. We have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
All right, no changes to the agenda? All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Langford, a second by Commissioner Thomas to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. We will move into public participation. This is a chance for you to voice your opinion, not about the county administrator position. We'll do that in a minute. This is anything else that you want to bring to the board that is on your mind that you want to discuss real quick. All right, then we will move on, and we will be talking about the county administrator's position. Okay? Bobby stood up and resigned several months ago. We did not accept his resignation at the time he did that. We moved to not accept the resignation. Some people think we were doing it to put it off, and they're right. We were putting it off. We wanted the new board to be able to decide who the county administrator was. If the board had changed, we wanted everybody on the board to be able to have a say who their county administrator was. There was no other reason for slowing it down. Plus, Mr. Crosby at that time had agreed he would stay with us through the budget hearing. And we're real close to the end of the budget hearings right now, and he kept his word and he stayed with us, and I appreciate that. He is a master when it comes to budgets, working with our staff and knowing exactly what needs to be done, so it was very helpful to have him stay here. I could not imagine bringing in someone new when the first thing they're going to have to do is try to help us work our budgets out. So I appreciate him staying. So, what is the pleasure of the board? How do we want to move on this? We're going to give everybody a chance to speak on it, but
You will want to hear from the public first, and then we...
Okay.
I don't know.
Then what we'll do is we'll hear from the public first, and then after the public speaks, we'll give each commissioner a chance to speak, and we'll give Mr. Crosby a chance to speak if he wishes. So, if there anybody like to speak on the county administrator's position, right now is your chance to do that. Come on up and join us. You have to come to the podium, you have to tell us your name. Come on up. Okay, we'll start the clock when you start speaking.
This is just for your information about the last go around for the county administrative position.
All right.
Just working? Can you hear it?
Can everybody hear her?
Okay. Yes, my name is Daniel, officer for late. I was present for all of the interviews in 2011. It ran through October, November of 2011. And what I wanted to bring to the attention of the audience was the job posting on Florida Crown. The commission prefers an individual who has a background in county administration and who is a strong leader and manager. The individual will possess, as a minimum, a bachelor's degree or higher from a four-year college or university with a major in public business administration, management, finance, or other related fields. A master's degree in public business administration or a related field, an ICMA, have no idea what that is, credentialed public manager, and or knowledge in planning and development would be viewed favorably. Also, the ideal candidate should possess at least 5 years of progressively responsible experience in management, preferably in public administration or any combination or education, training, and or experience equivalent to the minimum qualifications stated above. That was the posting. At the time, the commissioners were Randy Burden, D.A. Wilson, Sharon Lansford, Tommy Lansford, and Kenneth Thomas. So that's all I wanted to bring to the attention of the people here today.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yes, sir. Come on up. You tell us your name?
Marty Collins, just a local resident. So what I've observed over the last several years that Bobby has been here, y'all have accomplished a lot. And right now, you're in the middle of a lot of big projects, which Bobby has been a big part of. So I want to ask the board, do y'all consider whatever y'all need to do to keep this man in place? We need him. We're pro-growth. If you don't like growth, you might want to move farther out in the woods, but growth is coming, and Bobby has been a huge part and an advocate of supporting infrastructure and a lot of different things in the new jail, and he's in the middle of it. Why would we want to change right now? So I ask the board, y'all do what you can to keep this man.
All right.
He's got other options, as you know, he's trying to leave, but we need him. So I just ask y'all to keep him.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Next.
Gentlemen, ladies. My name is Joe Hoffman. I'm a general contractor. I'm a resident of Newberry, but I own property in Gilchrist County. I've been a general contractor for 40 years. I have done work all over the state in 22 municipalities. I counted them today. I've done work with a lot of different county administrators, county people in charge. Some of those have a different title, but Bobby has always been honest and has a lot of integrity. And he knows what he's doing, knows what all of his departments are doing, and he knows how to run a budget. I will have you know I have been lucky enough to win about 3 or 4 bids from the county. Always the low bidder. That's typically what you guys accept. And that's the first thing out of Bobby's mouth is how can we save some money. So I think he's always going to work for the county. I think he's very honest, and like I said, he has a lot of integrity. I was also a city commissioner for 12 years in Newberry. I'm from Miami originally, so I know a little bit about politics. Sometimes when you're in politics and in Bobby's position, people aren't going to be happy. You can't make everybody happy all the time. It just ain't going to happen. But I will tell you that is a good man, and you'll make a big mistake if you let him go. I promise you that.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Any others that would like to speak? Yes, sir.
Pete Pleasant, most of y'all know me. Just wanted to endorse Bobby's stand as county administrator. In the 40-some years I've been around to Gilchrist County, in the area, I haven't seen an administrator do as good a job as he has. He's a true gentleman. Every time my wife and I reach out on some issue, we get a response. This year we had a real big one up my way, and he helped us in a big way to do it. It took time, and in the past also. So I just want to say, again, kudos to Bobby. Please stay, and I hope you guys keep him on. And I speak for a bunch of people up my way.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll take the gentleman in the red shirt first, and, okay.
How you doing? Jim Stockman, I'm a Goodwood official, for the ones that don't know me, but just want to speak on behalf of the employees in general and the department heads. Bobby's been an excellent supervisor for us. He puts a lot of confidence in the department heads. He's helped me through a lot of hurdles, and he's definitely concerned about Gilchrist County and what's going on in the county, the growth, the development. He's on top of it, so just want to put that out there. I hope we can keep him.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Anthony Messina. I'm also a Gilchrist County resident. I'm also a general contractor, and I've worked with Bobby on numerous occasions. It's been very fair, balanced, have integrity. I hate to see y'all lose him. He's got a lot of knowledge in what he does each and every day for us as residents. I just want to endorse Bobby and encourage him to stay on doing what he's doing for us.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Brian Freeman, Heart Springs. Mr. Bobby, he shows what every person strives to be. As much as I know last time I was up here speaking, I couldn't speak. And Mr. Bobby, he dedicated and he checked on me every day. He doesn't care what it costs him to do what needs to be done, to do what's right. He goes above and beyond all the time. No matter what the cost is to himself. He's gonna make sure that his people, his county, everything is done to the best of his ability. He is a man of ethics, morals, and he is the ideal person. We need to make sure we can keep him in his seat as long as we can.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it, Brian.
Good afternoon. Rodney Collins of Gilchrist County. Just want to say a little, come up here, I feel remiss if I did speak on behalf of Mr. Crosby, the type of person that he is. I've had the pleasure, been blessed by the good Lord to have worked along his side for 3.5 years now, but just recently working in the office right next to him. And I can tell you, first of all, that's a man of true character. His faith first, his family, and his work. And, I often say with his, he even stepped me and approached me and said, Rodney, years administrator with me, and y'all know my background. Would you be interested in stepping in if I step down and applying for it? And no, sir, I certainly would not. Because I will tell you like this, I'm glad you ain't got the clock started because y'all didn't do it on anybody else, so that wouldn't be fair. So every time people here, they track me a little bit. But I will tell you this man is passionate, and I thought about that, and I went home, and I took quite a bit of abuse from the general public in 30 years with the Department of Corrections and my military experience and in the Persian Gulf War. I've worked by my time with the Department of Corrections and been in leadership positions from a warden to assistant director to a sergeant and squad in the Persian Gulf. There's 4 people, 4 men in my life, and I was telling Mr. Crosby about that today, that I truly respect and honor. I'm a Swanee County boy from Brantford, Florida, across the river. I know that's pretty bad, but my family's got, my grandfather was a preacher here for 20 years, the old Church of God. My grandfather preached the church here in Trenton, Church of God, back in the early 50s. My daddy left 12 years old from Trenton. My uncle played football at Trenton High School, graduated Trenton High School. And it's ironic, I would never have thought little Gilchrist County, that 4 men that God had put in my life, had blessed me to know and to be an example of a true leader. One of them was Sam Culpepper, Gilchrist County. Worked Sam Culpepper for many years like a brother to me, loved him dearly. The other one was by the name of Dwayne Spears, Gilchrist County. Worked with him in the prison system for years. Godly man, loved him to death. The third one was my grandfather, living in Gilchrist County. Preached for 20 years in this county, gave it his all. And the 4th man is Bobby Cross, Gilchrist County resident, and I respect him tremendously. And I'll stand here before you today and tell you, I know things going on in this county, and the public don't have patience. I understand sometimes I like that, and I just have to go on and pray about it. Give me a little patience. But I see what this man's doing. I see his passion for his family, for the residents of this county. I see what he's got going on. And to be amiss, if this man goes today, Gilchrist County is going to get set back. I hope and pray that people will do away with their personal feelings against this man for whatever reason they got against this man and come to realize this man, he's not good for Gilchrist County. He's great for Gilchrist County. So whatever decision the board makes today, that's the decision we live with. But Mr. Crosby, yeah, and I pray the right decision's made, and I respect it, and I appreciate everything you've done for Gilchrist County, and it's been an honor working with you.
Thank you very much. I agree with you. We've raised some pretty good people in Gilchrist County.
John Rutledge. The question I have is, why are we here today? What are we trying to accomplish?
Well, we wanted to hear from the public.
For what?
To see what their opinions were on a county administrator position. Bobby has agreed to come back as county administrator. We would like him to, at an increase in salary, which he certainly is worth what he's asking. It's searched other counties and other counties put just as much money, if not more, in the county administrator's position. And so today was to hear the public, to make sure everybody had a right to be heard and to be heard if they wish to speak.
Well, shame on us all for being in this position in the first place.
Correct.
Because when I was at the meeting when he announced his resignation, I was totally surprised. And Bobby, I consider Bobby a close personal friend. Shame on you all for not, I'm sure a lot of you all were surprised. I think Bobby has been excellent for this county. And I love this county. I've been here a little over 10 years. And to replace a county administrator is probably going to cost you double to triple the amount of money, and doesn't include the disruption in services and everything in the pipeline for 3 years. If Bobby is willing to come back and we can strike a deal, then we need to get on with it. But I certainly would like to see him stay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Can I ask a question? Maybe this will speak expedite this. Who in here is in favor of Bobby staying? That's all I needed to see right there. Okay. All right. I think we've seen what the will is of the audience with us today. So what would we like to do?
Make a motion to keep Mr. Bobby Crosby County Administrator.
All right, have we got a salary range that we're willing to pay him?
I think it's around 140.
Around 140.
say 140.
All right.
I'll hire Bobby Crosby back at $140,000
Are we
a
gonna
year.
have discussion?
We are gonna have discussions, but we're gonna have to see if we have a second first. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second the
All right.
discussion. Yep.
All right, we can discuss it now.
So, and I've already spoken to Mr. Crosby, about this, but, this is a very difficult position to be in. I'm very torn, because I think Mr. Crosby is a good county administrator, and I've told him that, and I hate to lose him. We've not always seen eye to eye, but at the end of the day, you know, we get things done, but overall, I think you're a really good administrator. I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, nobody's perfect. But I feel like the timing is, really bad to have, to replace him. With all the projects going on right now, just like Mr. Collins had mentioned, you know, I want to see these projects finished, also. And I agree with Mr., you know, Hoffman, he is a good man. The hard part for me, though, is that over the last several months, through the course of this, election, I've had citizens approaching me and stating that they've heard that if the election went a certain way, then he was going to stay. And I assured them otherwise that he was for sure leaving, and he's announced it 3 or 4 times in the public meetings, and also have, you know, presented a letter, which we didn't, you know, accept the letter, I know that. We've also officially have advertised for this position. We've had over 15 applications, and that's not fair for those who've applied. I've enjoyed working with Mr. Crosby, and think the world of him and his family. And I don't want any hard feelings. And like I said, you know, I want the public to know that Mr. Crosby and I, we had a long conversation. Thursday or Friday, we talked about this. But I don't feel right about going back what I told the citizens and told them and assured them that his last day would be at the end of August. And so at this time I can't support that, but I told him that I do hope he gets the 3 votes, and he can vouch for that, but I can't go back on my word what I told the citizens. So, and that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Sharon. Anybody else wish to say?
Yeah, I want to say this definitely has been, not that I definitely support Bobby, and we've been friends for a long time. I think a lot of you got a lot of respect for you in the audience. And, you know, thinking about the best decision for Gilchrist County, I want to be, now through my term, it's not a personal agenda for me. It's not I may not always do a politically correct thing, but I'm going to always try to do things that I think are best for Gilchrist County. I understand that even though we're not here today vocal, there are critics, there are opponents, Bobby, us on the board, and that was probably part of the reason for the election, the things that we went through recently. I think about, you know, there's been disgruntled employees, ex-employees, people attack some of our departments. It's just, in the position Bobby's in, been here 12 years or so, you know, you stand up and you tell people no, you're going to gain some enemies over time, and even if you're doing everything right, you're going to get some enemies. And so I understand why we could get to where we are. I talked to a county administrator recently from another county. He said, you know, these positions are not long-term career positions because of what you've got to do as a county administrator. There's just lots to it. And so I thought about, what am I looking for in a good coordinator, and what's qualified, not just degrees, but what kind of skills do they have? Do they have experience in the private sector, in the business, you know, real experience leading people? Someone that can relate to people, want to help people solve problems and serve them, somebody who is honest and has integrity. And I've heard that today about Bobby. And I think a lot of these things that I'm looking for in a coordinator, Bobby has. Somebody you can trust, a good leader, a manager, somebody that even gets attacked, like we saw during the election.
he and his family endured a lot, and it just was, I hated to see that people in these kind of positions, when they're doing the best for the county, get attacked. And I understand politics and how that works, but I just hate to see it. And I hope we do less of that in the future. Ideally, you want somebody that has knowledge of the county, that wants the long-term interests of the county, and not only making decisions for today, but for future generations, and is passionate about the county. All of those things I see in Bobby. He's not perfect. None of us are. We all make mistakes. And when you do things, you're going to make mistakes. And you just hope, I think, our successes have been more than those mistakes. And I think if you continue to work, we can sit here and do nothing and not make any mistakes. But I don't think anybody wants that. And so, I know we've advertised for a position, people to apply for this position. I talked to a good source from Levy County recently. They're interviewing for a new county administrator. And what I heard was the person that's leaving, who is leaving on their own will, none of the people in that applicant pool are as talented or as experienced as that person. And so we can go through the interview and find somebody, and we still may not get, we probably won't get the same kind of person that we have. And somebody mentioned, turnover. Well, I can tell you, there are some department heads here that are loyal to Bobby, and there'll be some that leave. And what does that cost? What does it cost to be less efficient, to be less effective, to lose relationships that he has, not only around here, but at the state and regional level? What does it cost to lose out on grant dollars this last couple of years? $30 million. He's asking for a roughly $40,000 increase, and I got to tell you, that's my hardest thing here, is a big jump. And I've talked to people, advisors that I trust, that support me, support him, and that's what they tell me. That's a big jump. But I keep going back to return on investment and having people and all those things that I just mentioned. And I looked at other counties and what other counties pay. And I got a recent survey, the most recent is 2021, that the Florida Association of Counties put out. And they range from, for similar size, $90,000 to $190,000. The 190 is Henry County. They have 42,000 people. You got to look at the number of staff. They got a few more staff. You got to look at the budget that somebody handles. They, at this time, was handling a $70 million budget. Ours was $60 last year. And so I know it's a little bit less this year. All those things I consider when I'm thinking about, I totally support Bobby and him being here, and I understand how important it is. All of you have, most of you have spoke about why it's good to keep Bobby. And so I just give you some of my thoughts, and I'd be interested to hear what the other commissioners have to say.
Mr. Langford? I sat down and talked with Bobby, and he told me he was going to retire, and he told the board he's going to retire. He told the public he's going to retire. He did turn in a written resignation. We did advertise it. We've had some applicants. I have nothing against Bobby. He's a great guy. I love working with him. I support him 100%. Everything that people said about Bobby, I agree with. He's a great guy. The only thing I can't justify is the salary increase. I answer to the taxpayers, and I'm a taxpayer myself. So to go a $40,000 raise is pretty much unheard of. If he would agree to stay for what he's making, I could accept that probably. But to go to that type of, increase, I don't know how I can, tell the people that support me and elected me to help with the county budget and help with the county business, how I could justify, that kind of raise. I mean, I guess if he performed miracles and made the lame walk and healed the blind, I might could justify it, but, I struggle with that, I really do. Bobby, I sat down and talked with you. You told me he was going to retire. Like I said, you'll always be a friend. I hope this has nothing to do with our friendship. But if we've already advertised, we've already promoted that, we got applicants. Bobby's the one that decided to retire. I didn't decide to retire him. He's the one that put in his notice. So the only way I can answer it, I just can't justify the increase. If he stays, hallelujah. If he goes, we'll work through it. That's all I can tell you.
Mr. Kendrick?
I put my faith in Bobby Crosby 12 years ago, and my faith still stands tall with Mr. Crosby. He's more than a county administrator. He's a good friend to me. His family's been friends to me. And if I didn't think it was justifiable to give him the pay raise, I wouldn't have made the motion. This county's got a lot coming down the pipeline. Mr. Crosby's a big part of it. And like some of the people said, if Mr. Crosby leaves, a lot of this is leaving us, and I don't want to see that. I don't. So, I stand behind Mr. Crosby. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. I stand behind Mr. Crosby too. I decided to go last just so I can hear everybody else. I'm behind Mr. Crosby. You heard everybody here. We need to do what we can to keep them. I've looked at salaries in neighboring counties, and you may have one that makes less, but then you see they have a county administrator's assistant that they're paying another $60,000 for. So they pay them $100,000. They pay the assistant $160,000. They got $160,000 in the same job he's willing to do for $140,000. He has told me he doesn't want an assistant, that his department heads that he's picked out, he knows them, and they trust them, and they're loyal to him, and he can get everything done with them that a same administrator has to do with an assistant. So I have no problem at all keeping Mr. Crosby. Everything everybody said is true. Everything that Dale said is true. I understand $40,000 is a huge increase, but when I look what other administrators have been making, we should have raised his salary a year ago, or 2 years ago, because other administrators are making that kind of money. And if he goes, he's going to make probably more than that somewhere else. And we probably wouldn't get someone in here who's qualified that would work for less than that kind of money. And then what we got to do is go through the whole bringing them in, getting them used to everybody, introducing them, going those who leave, those who come. I am 100% in favor of keeping Bobby at the $140,000 salary. Again, I thought it was a big jump too, but when I sat down and analyzed what it was going to cost us to switch to someone else, I figured the $40,000 was worth it. We got, you wonder why everybody's moving to Gilchrist County? It's because we've been doing things right here, and he's a big part of what we've been doing right, guys. Okay? He makes our job easy by bringing us all the information, all the facts, the best deals he can get, and then we get to decide whether we want to do that. And I put a lot of faith in what he brings to us as the best deal available. And I've researched them afterwards and found out they are the best deals available most of the time. So at this point in time,
yeah, just you mentioned we have in the budget an assistant manager at $55,000-$60,000, and Bobby's saying he didn't need that. But the other thought is, you know, constitutional officers, this is, I know, was set by the state legislature, they are currently at $121,000. And, you know, how they range from a number of employees, less to more. The tax collector now has been moved to $148,000. The sheriff's been moved to roughly 185, 86, and I understand these are good people. They're high integrity. We got to have them in those positions. It just shows you, though, the legislature recognizes that good people, you got to pay them more. And I understand to a lot of people that this is crazy money for positions, but you're talking about somebody that manages 100 employees and manages millions of dollars and gets extra millions of dollars for Gilchrist County that doesn't cost directly. I understand we all pay taxes, and eventually somebody pays for that. We got to make sure that grant money's being spent wisely. But the staff have done an outstanding job on getting grant money. I mean, just on roads, on buildings, on vehicles, and so just from that standpoint, return on investment, I support the idea. The only thing that gives me, and I asked Bobby, I said, is there something you would do less? And maybe Bobby needs to talk a little bit, if you don't mind, and give us your perspective. I know you've been offered by an engineering firm to make more than what you're asking for. Is that correct?
Yes. I said I wasn't going to say a whole lot in this meeting because I didn't want to, but the Lord has been good to me. The Lord has been good to me and my family, and that's where I got to give all the credit. And I've got a wonderful supporting wife and 2 boys and daughter-in-laws and grandkids, and we got a beautiful life, and it's still beautiful. And we sat around and we talked about this and we prayed about it, and what come to my realization of this, the Lord gave me 2 roads to take, and both of those roads are great. And you are correct, not to put too much stuff out. This is actually a little less than I would make if I left the county. But there's a love that I've developed for this county. My kids, you talk about generations. I got 2 generations of family here still, and I hope they stay here. And I want to be a part of that, yes. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. Will I make a mistake? The best thing, I had a gentleman I worked for one time, I called him and said I made a mistake. And I didn't even tell him what it was. He said, good. And I said, what do you mean good? You don't know what I did. He said, you was at work. If you wouldn't have been at work, you wouldn't have made a mistake. So do we make mistakes? Do we try to correct them? Be honest with people. Be straightforward with people. That's all people ask for. Are we going to be tough along the way sometime? Absolutely. But, I would like to stay here because one of the things, and this is not to say anything bad about anyone, we have a lot of things going on right now. Could there be a smooth transaction? Yes. Bring somebody in, work with me 5-6 months and get a good feel for it and have a smooth transaction. But just to walk off, and I'm not saying there's not people here that can't do it, but it would put a lag. I mean, I was on the phone today answering questions about a grant so that we can get our $1.7 million sent to us, and it should be on the way shortly. I was on the phone last week. Senator Bradley's office called me, and I'm not saying all this for anything other than all that would have to catch up, to get in place. So when I started thinking about a lot of those things, I was like, if I can be a help to the county and they would like me to stay, I'd be happy to stay and try to keep all this going together for a little while longer. I'm on the downhill side of my career, so 3 or 4 more years, and hopefully I'm not doing a whole lot of anything except what Tammy wants me to do every day. But other than that,
you'll be back to work then.
But I do love this county, and I care a lot about this county, and I will tell you, it's kind of hard to sit here and talk and put my thoughts together, because there's people here today that stood up and said things about me, and I see people out here in this audience that I know they're good friends, but I didn't expect to see them here today or stand up and say anything, and it's kind of emotional, and it's pretty touching. And so with that, I hope somewhere along the way I've really done something that was good and made a little difference. But that would be
just to clear it up, I told one of the commissioners today, I said, he asked me what I would stay for. I said it'd be $140,000. I said not a dollar less and not a dollar more. I don't want more, don't want less, but it's $140,000. So if that works for this commission, that's great. Like I said, the Lord's blessed me with 2 roads here, but I would prefer to take this path and continue to work and help this county.
Salary would start October 1st?
Yes, sir. Yes.
That would be our
new budget
beginning
year.
of our new budget year.
Yes, sir.
How many applicants do we have, Bobby? Do you
I have no clue. I've stayed out of that.
Do you know how many?
23.
How much?
23.
23? I think that's exactly what we had last time. 23 applicants. So that tells me if we had 23 applicants, there's 23 people, knowing what the salary is going to be, 75 to 100, there's 23 people willing to work for that. Like I said, I believe everybody in this room 100%. I support Bobby 100%. I'm just elected to represent the taxpayers, and I'm having a real hard time with a $40,000 raise. That's my problem. Bobby stays, I'll hug his neck. If he leaves, I'll hug his neck. I mean, I have to justify what I'm doing, and I'm just having a hard time justifying that.
All right, anybody else wish to speak? You spoke once, but I'll let him speak first, then I'll bring you back up if we don't have a lot of other people. All right?
My name is Everett Heaton. I'm an evangelist here in Gilchrist County. Been here most of my entire life. I'm Bobby's preacher. Proud to be it. He's a pillar in our church. As far as our critics go, I've been in politics before, and I'm a minister, so I deal with a different kind of politics. My first thing I thought of is that they had the opportunity, that you've given them an opportunity to come here and speak their mind. And I've yet to hear a critic come up here and say anything negative. So through all this stuff that's been happening, yes, there was things that were said, but to make a decision based upon people running their mouth. I'm a preacher, so I got to throw some Bible at you real quick. Okay. Proverbs 27 is 2 verses. Solomon says, answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you become like him. But the very next verse, he turns it and says, answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own sight. There's a time to look at people when they're being critical and complaining, and just to realize who you're talking to and let it go. And there's a time to answer it. And the beauty about this kind of system is that they get an opportunity to come speak their mind, and they didn't. The second thing I want to say is probably the wisest person I know. This is a big decision, all right? And big decisions get clouded by a lot of other details. And I was having a moment in my life where that was the case, and he looked at me and he said, Everett, forget all the stuff and just, what is the right thing to do? What's the right thing to do? Answer that first. Everything else, you will figure it out. And I'm asking you all to do the right thing. I think you know the right thing to do is. All the other stuff, the money, whatever, it'll all figure itself out. God will make it happen because we still believe in God we trust, right?
Amen.
So, love you, Bob.
All right. Yes, Donna.
Thank you. Donna Clemmer, Gilchrist County resident for 33 years. I support Bobby Crosby. I'm one of 6 female department head leaders. He believes in women. He lets us explore. He doesn't micromanage us. He lets us learn our trade, and then he's always there for us to support us. We support him 100% on this, even with the raise, because if we start backwards, every department is going to have to start with someone new. That's going to be a nightmare for not only you, every employee of Gilchrist County. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Chief Campbell, Gilchrist County Fire. I would just like to say, with Bobby changing his mind to stay, trust me when I tell you that has been pushed by us hard. We've been messing with him since day one. Since we knew right before we came into that meeting that what we were probably going to hear, we've been trying to find a reason to keep him here. There's several of us, I can't speak for all of them, but I can definitely speak for me. I was in a process in another county, and I really see that as more of a educational process for me. I applied for a pretty big position in another county, made it all the way to the end, lost by 1 point to the man who got the job. I talked to Bobby and considered coming over here. To this day, I still haven't been up to the salary that I left 8 years ago to come here, and it ain't about the money to come here. It's about what we can bring back to our community. I've been in Gilchrist County since I was 2. I am a transplant. I come from Texas, but I lived here since I was 2 years old, and I knew nothing else. Mr. Crosby has helped me to grow as a leader, and there's a lot of stuff everybody sees, but what you don't see is the 2 and 3 a.m. phone calls that go to him. He's got the advice. He's got a cooler full of water. When we're out there working the scene, it's a phone call, and most of the time you don't get to make the phone call because he somehow finds out about it before I can tell him midday and just shows up. I hope his decision was influenced by the many of us who have tried to find anything we can do to get him to stay, and I speak for myself when I say that is one of the main reasons why I work for this county, is because I can work for somebody who trusts us, who supports us, and who helps us to get things done over here. I think we've gotten a lot of things done. We've gotten a lot of grants. We've completely blown away what they had gotten in grants before in my department, and Mr. Crosby has helped us out every step of the way in that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Gilchrist County. Bobby's the best person I've ever worked for, ever. So I want to get out that first. But just so you guys know, out of those 23 resumes, I haven't read all of them. A majority of them do want more money or saying salaries negotiable, and there's a couple in there that don't have any qualifications that would meet the standards. So just so we're all clear, it's not that they were all accepting a lower amount. There's quite a few that want to negotiate salary.
Okay.
Thank you. Just to keep their extension department. Like many others in our community, I've had the opportunity to work in several different counties, and because of my career, I work with extension units all over the state of Florida who work directly with their county government. And I can speak for Bobby's character and also his leadership because he's had the opportunity to work directly with his department heads in so many counties. I hear from other extension directors and extension faculty members that their county administrators don't speak to them the same as ours do. They're not available at the drop of a phone call. They're not available on nights and weekends the same way that ours are. In addition to that, they're constantly moving. So because they're chasing a higher dollar salary or because they're being run out of the counties that they're in. So a lot of times, these people are not invested in the communities that they're working in the same way that Bobby Crosby is invested in working here. So I wrote a couple of things down that I wanted to make sure to say. So Bobby has deep understanding of our community's unique needs and characteristics, and his experience is unparalleled. No one else is going to understand Gilchrist County the way that he does. And no one's going to care for our department and understand our department cares the way that he does. No one is going to take time to invest in the people the way that he has and believe in the potential that our community has. In addition to that, he wants to continuously make it clear that we need to move in the right direction, and he understands what it takes to have intricate knowledge on the topics that we're discussing. He also represents our agricultural community, which is the core of Gilchrist County. There's still some people that have understanding in that area that are going to be able to support that industry here and advocate for our producers the way that he does. In addition to that, his absence would leave a significant gap, and it would be challenging for anyone to fill that gap, especially in a short amount of time. So yes, you could bring someone in. They likely would need a lieutenant county superintendent or a lieutenant county administrator, and they would be making half the salary, and their combined salary would be more than what he's asking for. So I urge you to be willing to accept his offer, and also be willing to continue under his leadership because he has been amazing for our county departments and he is a strong leader in our community. Thanks.
All right, thank you. One or two more, and then I think we've heard.
Ralph Smith, Gilchrist County resident, lifetime, also the Department of Emergency Management Director. I ask you to please accept Mr. Crosby's offer because the way I look at it, if you are going to hire a new administrator and then also add an assistant, you're going to be paying more money. So for those of you who are having a hard time adjustment on the salary, you're going to be cheaper to do it Mr. Crosby's way. And as far as Mr. Crosby, I've been working for him for the last 9 years. Couldn't find a better boss. Answer his phone every time you call him. If he doesn't answer, he'll call you back in about 2 minutes. Couldn't ask for a better boss. So thank you.
Thank you.
Jimmy Stedman Engineering. I agree with everything that they said about Bobby. I'm not going to go back over that. I get emotional because I care so much about it. But I was a DOT guy, bureaucrat for 30-something years, and probably one of the smartest things that I ever learned was as a manager, and I see the board as a manager of the commissioner, the administrator. If you find good people, really good people, and then you pay them to keep them. You pay them to keep them. And I would just say, think about that real hard. I have watched people in other groups and other places, I won't name them, but I've watched them maybe decide to go the other route, and suddenly they get into a revolving door of a new administrator. And before you know it, they're paying guy number 4 as much as the other guy would have stayed for. So, you've got a really good one. Do what you can to keep them, because other people will want them.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right.
I didn't come down here to talk today.
Give us your name, just so everybody knows you, but we got to have it on recording.
Jackie Barron.
Hey, Jackie.
Just to give some of you a little perspective, I know what Bobby's doing. I spent 16 years as elected clerk of the circuit court during the time when we didn't have a county administrator. I was on when we established the first. I was very instrumental in writing the first comprehensive plan. I was the budget officer. And by default, I was the county administrator because we didn't have one. I can tell you that I support everything that everybody says. I know Bobby to be a Christian man. I know Bobby to love the county. I know his heart in the job. I got to speak to Tommy because I've been there. Look at what $40,000 is compared to the budget and the budgetary responsibilities that position's got. It doesn't matter whether it's Bobby or anybody else. I can tell you that if he leaves here today and he does not accept, his offer, that you're going to have 24 applicants, I wouldn't take it for less than $120,000 from scratch. We got 100 employees. We got 32 EMTs. You got about 20 on the road department. Well, it's a hell of a lot of responsibility. The average lifetime for the county administrator today, and this comes from Scott Coon, who is currently the executive director of North Central Puerto Rico Planning Council, is 3 to 5 years. Bobby's got a lot of intestinal fortitude. I will tell you this, that I believe that down along the right road, I've talked to a couple of you about some things that you're planning, as far as the county being able to meet some things that create issues. These issues is what eat people like Bobby's lunch. They're the same issues as eat your lunch. I'm going to tell you what the 2 of them are, for him and for the 5 of y'all. Number 1 is y'all is age. Number 1, listen. It was number 1 in 1986. Ain't nothing changed. You can change it, though, if you go about it the right way. The second thing is permitting. Comprehensive plan and building permits. We have outgrown the current provision that we have set up in this county for comprehensive plan. There's things that you can do to alleviate that. There's things that you can do to bring people back together. But when you create these situations now, you expect the building department to make all the revenue it takes to support it now is not reasonable. When we established it, it was reasonable. Everybody was under a permitting thing now. The whole thing has changed now. So there's a number of things y'all can do to work together, but I would love to see you give him the $140,000 by unanimous decision to give him a solid backing of the Board of County Commissioners. You're never going to hire anybody that's going to be any more loyal or work any harder to get this thing. You may find people that can do things different, but his heart is in it, and we need the backing, and that's all I gotta say.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we have a motion made and a second to keep Bobby Crosby, and at $140,000 a year starting, October 1st. Is there any more discussion amongst the board? All right, then we'll vote on it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, we need to do, I say it passed, 3-2, but I can do a roll call if someone would like. Since it was so close, do we do a roll call?
I think it passed.
Okay, you think it passed? All right, motion passes. All right.
Thank you.
Chairman, was that if Mr. Crosby's willing to withdraw his resignation?
I guess, is Mr. Crosby willing to withdraw his resignation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then it did pass, and, congratulations, I am excited about you, Stan. Everything that was said is true.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anybody that said something where I go, I just don't believe that. Everything I heard was positive is true, and I'm excited to have you stand with us, and like you said, we'll get you in there and we'll work the money out some way or another. Any other comments?
Another comment. I think probably we ought to get Ms. Checkman-Brasso to notify all the applicants, thank them for submitting applications, and tell them that we've decided to retain our county manager in-house.
Okay, we can do that.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, all I simply know to say is thank you. Thank you. And, y'all set the bar pretty high, so I gotta keep climbing. But thank y'all very much.
I want to say something too. Bobby, congratulations. I hope this don't cause no hard feelings. I have a job as a county commissioner, as an elected official, to do my job. I did it. I agree with everything that everybody says. Bobby's a great guy. We kept it. I don't agree with the process, the way we done it and how it was handled. And there again, I have a hard time justifying. I understand what you're saying, Sandy, and all you, about the $40,000. I don't doubt that Bobby's not worth it. It's just, how do I tell somebody, my supporters and stuff, that I gave them a $40,000 raise? That's the hard part I have. I will work with Bobby. I'll move forward. Hallelujah. I look forward to working with him. I hope he'll stay as long as he wants to. I did encourage him. He said he might retire and spend some time with his grandkids. I did encourage him to do that if he wanted to do that. But that's an option down the road, I guess. But I appreciate everybody coming. I appreciate what you say. I really appreciate your support for Bobby. That tells me a lot about what y'all think about Bobby Crosby and about what the county's doing. Y'all made, in my heart, you made a big statement today, a real big statement. I appreciate every one of you, everything you said. I just made my decision based on my thoughts and the way things are handled, so I'm not against Bobby, not at all, not at all.
And Bobby knows how I feel about him. We've had this discussion, and I've had to go with what I had told people prior to the election that came to me, that called me. And like I told him, and I'm glad he got the 3 votes. I told him I hope he's able to stay.
Yeah, Bobby, one way you can, I think you'll do this, is show us, say, $40,000 in the first month or 6 months. And I think you can probably do that. And I think we can do that as a board if we work together, continue as staff gets grant money. I think we'll be able to show people that we can be good money managers. And
we currently have about $5 million additional dollars in grants that we're working on that hasn't been awarded yet, that we stand a very, very good chance of getting those funds. So we'll continue to do that because we have a lot of buildings that we built and that we're building,
And without those grant funds, I mean, we got almost $2 million in buildings right now, and both of those are grant funded, and those are buildings that this community needed. So if we didn't get it by grant funding, there was going to be a time that we had to figure out how to build them. So, hopefully we can keep staying ahead of that curve.
Mr. Newton, did you have?
Yes, sir. So in the conversation, it was discussed about the assistant position. We currently have that budgeted for next year. Is the consensus that we're removing that position?
That would be my thought. That's something we need to.
Yeah, we need to remove that.
We need to go ahead and remove that assistant position.
It's gonna actually, it's gonna lower the overall budget.
Put that money back in the budget.
Well, you'll bring a recap to the tentative budget hearing of the number, and you can take that out.
Okay. And I will tell y'all, this is the hardest decision I've made in my 12 years on the board.
It was mine too.
It was. It's a hard decision.
We've actually, saved money by doing this.
Yep. All right, we got a motion to adjourn? All right, we got a motion and a second. All right, meeting adjourned.